Hello everybody, I am Denise. I am an eco-ambassador for Return to the Natives, but I'm also a student at HSPMB studying marine science, but I also love plants. And I'm here to talk to you guys today a bit about pollinators and why they're so important, and wildflowers. I love spotting wildflowers. Right now it's spring, and so there's a ton of them popping up. Hopefully after watching this video you'll be able to identify them on your own. There's a beautiful garden here in Garland Regional Park that has a lot of these wildflowers, so you can identify them all at once, and then we'll go on a nature walk and try to find these flowers in the wild. Native plants and animals need each other. Butterflies, bees, hummingbirds, and other insects need these flowers for nectar. They need plants in order to survive. Even us as humans, a lot of the things we eat, even nuts like almonds, are pollinated by bees. Even cherries, blueberries, melons, and apples, these are all things that are pollinated. Some other important pollinators in the area, other than bees, are hummingbirds, and that's one of the first items on the agenda that I'm going to talk to you guys about. Wildflowers come in all different colors. They can most commonly be yellow, blue, and purple, but sometimes when flowers are red, they've been adapted to be pollinated by hummingbirds specifically. So this is a plant, it's called scarlet bugler, and it has these long tubular petals. They're beautiful, obviously adapted to be pollinated by hummingbirds. And this is because hummingbirds, their vision, they typically see in the warm range best, so these colors would be something like red or pink. This flower is called hummingbird sage. It's really distinctive. It has these kind of clumps and these beautiful pink flowers. And as you can see, it's kind of hairy. It has these little hairs everywhere. And they're on the leaves too, making them extremely soft. So as I mentioned before, this is a type of sage, and all sage is in the mint family. A way you can tell is if you were to touch one of these stems, it's square instead of round. Another way to help you visualize this is if you were to take one of these stems and break it, you would see a circle, and anything in the mint family, if you were to break the stem, you would see a square. This is one of my personal favorite flowers ever, I think just because the name is really funny. It's called sticky monkey flower. And it's supposed to resemble kind of the face of a monkey. And it has a ton of really interesting facts. The leaves used to be used as a substitute for salt. That's because this entire plant kind of extracts salt from the soil, and it's in the leaves. Another interesting fact is that this plant can also be used to treat wounds like scrapes or burns, because it contains these compounds that can kill bacteria and prevent infection. So far I've talked about scarlet bugler, hummingbird sage, and sticky monkey flower. The three flowers I just named have nectar, but this is called the California poppy. I'm sure you've seen it. It's the state flower, and surprisingly it doesn't produce nectar. It produces just pollen, but it does attract tons of different pollinators such as bees, and it is mainly pollinated by beetles. This is called common yarrow. This flower attracts hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies, but is also really useful for herbivores and humans. So herbivores actually don't eat any part of the plant other than the flower. Similarly, humans only use the flower for tea. So what you can do is dry this flower and just use a little bit, maybe a teaspoon or so, and add it to a cup of boiling water. and this tea is actually really has many health benefits. Now that I've talked about scarlet bugler, hummingbird sage, sticky monkey flower, California poppy, and common yarrow, all of which were planted in this native garden, now we're going to go on a walk and see if we can find some of these that are naturally occurring. We're only a couple minutes into our walk and we already found a ton of these California poppies. It's a little bit smaller than what we found in the garden, but we did find a lot of this naturally occurring yarrow all over this side of the trail. We just found another common yarrow, and this one's almost as tall as me. I haven't mentioned this flower before, but we just found this beautiful field of lupin and we thought we'd film it. Oh, and there's a bumblebee out there. Talk about pollinators. We just found the monkey flower. I'm actually really excited we found this because I did say it was one of my favorites and I was afraid we wouldn't find it, but here it is. That concludes our virtual tour of the Wildflowers. Again, this is Garland Regional Park. I really recommend that you come here if you can and take a walk and try to identify some flowers. Thank you for joining me. As an activity, I would like you guys to get a piece of paper and sketch some of the flowers. You can look them up on Google. And here are some images I found. I drew some yarrow here. And I was thinking that you could, in addition to the flower, draw one of the uses that I explained. So I explained that tea was a use for yarrow. You could maybe draw some pollinators. So, you know, you could draw some butterflies or some hummingbirds or bees that are paired with that flower. This is my final drawing. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for being here.